Back in 2024, the rapper 4Bats was everywhere. Now fast forward to a year later, and this music isn't pulling in the insane amount of numbers it did back then, and it's now safe to say that 4Bats has officially fallen off. Hi, my name is Dreidel, and I make video documentaries every other week, and today we'll take a look at the infamous story of 4Bats and why he fell from grace in such a short period of time. To fully understand his come up, we first have to understand where it all started. 4Bats, whose government name is Nico Bennett, exploded onto the internet in 2023. With just a few leaks and snippets on TikTok, he had already racked up millions of views, cosigns from global stars like Drake, Kanye West, and what looked like a guaranteed path to superstardom. But less than a year later, that meteoric rise has seemingly slowed. The industry moved on, fans grew impatient, and 4Bats, once hip-hop's next big thing, is now dangerously close to becoming just another could have been. So what happened to 4Bats? This is the story of how one of 2024's most promising artists sabotaged his own momentum before his debut album even dropped. His breakout track at 2 Days at 8 was mysterious and catchy at the same time, in a way that made the internet stop and pay attention. TikTok was flooded with edits.
Who the fuck is these thugs, nigga? Let's see, bro! Let's see who these thugs is!
Yeah.
They're from the UK!
I'll come and slide by 8 p.m. and send a text to your DM. Buying it for your fucking ass.
Yo, I'ma hurt this! Yo, what the fuck?
With comments stating, the real definition of never judge a book by its cover. I unironically fuck with Bats, he's hella chill. Another saying, not gonna lie, 4Bats is actually chill. Music blogs called him the next Brent Faiyaz, and on April 2024, Drizzy hopped on the remix, something he only does for artists he really believes in. The remix dropped and the numbers went crazy, sitting at 21 million views on YouTube alone, and it felt like 4Bats was invisible. But what fans didn't know at the time was that the music had already slowed down, there were no follow-up hits, no album dates, no release presents, and in the world of fast-paced music consumption, hype fades really fast. After the Drake remix, 4Bats went quiet, no new music, no interviews, no rollout. Instead, fans were left with cryptic tweets and Instagram stories, a few blurry photos here and there. Rumors started swirling label issues, creative delays, personal problems. Nobody knew for sure, and 4Bats wasn't saying much. Then came the conversation nobody wanted to have. Was this just another victim of the so-called Drake feature curse? It's a pattern fans have pointed out for years. Drake jumps on a track, gives it a massive boost, and then the original artist vanishes. 4Bats sadly fit the mold. With no solid catalog and no plan to capitalize on the wave, the Drake feature became the peak and not the beginning. Part of the problem might have been how 4Bats entered the game, being labeled as an industry plant, as he wasn't built off years of mixtapes or a grassroots fan base. He came in through viral moments and label interest. When labels see numbers, they jump in fast. But if the artist isn't ready, it becomes a mess.
We also can't forget the immense virality that his song Dated 8 had, which also had to have been very helpful in his blow-up. If I really wanted to go conspiracy theory mode, I could say a label has secretly been with him from the start, but that wouldn't really make sense because he just signed. He had some help and has a very solid team, but technically speaking, he isn't a plant. At least if you go by the definitions that say you need a major label backing you. He does have a lot of industry connections, and he got hooked up with a great team that recognized his talent and wanted to put him on, and they did a great job, since now he's signed to Drake's record label. So to me it seems unfair that people are propping him up to be some guy who is like a puppet in some major label's evil scheme to make money. His story honestly seems believable as is. So sorry if my hypothesis, which I'm like 95% sure is accurate, was a letdown.